Hey, Ashley Tison here, your OZ Sherpa. You just grabbed the 2026 OZ Field Guide. I wanted to take a few minutes and walk you through it personally so you actually get value out of it, not just another PDF buried in your downloads folder. We've all got those where we get some kind of, gift from somebody and then we never do anything with it. I want to make this so that this becomes your go-to and that it's not just another download, but that it becomes what you are using as your reference sheet. It's 4 pages. We're going to hit the highlights of each one. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it John Madden style. So, page 1. This is your structure. This is a diagram that took me about a year of working with investors to figure out how to draw simply. So, you as the investor are at the top, right? You got to have a capital gain. So it's got to come from a sale to an unrelated party. It's got to flow down into your QOF. Now, in lawyers' land, we usually use triangles here, but in this case, we use boxes just because it looked more visually appetizing. But we typically don't recommend that you use a box, which in most cases would be like a C Corp. This is going to be a flow-through entity that's going to be your LLC at your QOF level. Then your gain is going to run from your QOF down to your QOZB, which once again is probably going to be some kind of LLC tax as a partnership. And then after it gets down into your QOZB, you've got 31 months to spend that money. And then you got to invest it inside of the 31 months. You've got to put it into qualified opportunity zone business property. And that is dirt, buildings, equipment, whatever. Or if you're an actual business, that's payroll. That's, spending money on the different things that you got to do as an actual operating business. Now, the call out boxes around it tell you exactly what each entity has to do to qualify. So these are your investor requirements, where your gains got to come from. These are your QOF requirements, right? And these are your QOZB investment requirements. When your QOF puts money into the QOZB, it's got to be original issue for cash, yada, yada, that kind of thing. So if you're going to do this yourself, or you want to pressure test what your CPA or other advisor is telling you, this one page is the framework that everything else lives inside. Now, page 2 is the comparison that most people get wrong. So this is 1.0 versus 2.0 side by side. And the key thing to know is that OZ 1.0, the original program, is still alive through December 31st, 2026, with the 10-year exclusion fully intact. OZ 2.0 takes effect January 1st, 2027, and key thing is that it brings back the deferral. So you're going to get a 5-year rolling deferral from when you put your money in. And that could go in, it's any time during that year, it's going to get you 5 years that you don't have to pay the taxes. Yes, my friends, the interest-free loan from Uncle Sam is back and it's in full effect. But it also gives you that step-up benefit that expired back in 2019 and 2021. And now you're going to get either a 10% step up in basis, or if you're in a rural opportunity zone, you're going to get a 30% deal. The myth sections that it's down at the bottom of the page here, right? So these are the 4 myths that keep people from acting and actually doing their opportunity zone deals. This is too good to be true, right? Hasn't this program expired? Or I need $1 million to do this deal. Or it's just like a 1031. That's the way that myth people talk that are following their limited beliefs, but you don't talk like that because you now have this cheat sheet that busts those out and busts them like crazy. And if somebody's telling you those things, they need to be talking like that, or they should be talking like that. I've heard every one of those from advisors who should know better. So if a CPA tells you this program expired, you know that they're talking like that. So page 3 is the milestone of every milestone that matters. It's a page, it's a roadmap of all of the milestones that you need to be aware of relative to the 1.0 transition and what it's transitioning into 2.0. Kind of all I got to hand it to my team who put this thing out. They did a great job of making it very visually. I love it. I love the layout of this thing because it encompasses and it picks up all this stuff that you really need to know. The dates highlighted in red are the ones with real consequences, right? Those are the ones that you need to be paying attention to, right? Like this is a hard deadline at December 31st, 2026. That's when capital gains become due. July 4th, 2025, man, that was a great day. Flyovers in Washington, D.C. as President Trump signed the One Big Beautiful Bill into law, which made OZs permanent. The OZ designation process starts July 1st of this year, where the states are actually going to start turning in their selected opportunity zones. If you're interested in getting involved in that, we got a ton of resources relative to who you need to be talking to and how. And then October to December of 2026, that's when we're going to start seeing the states designations. And then when Treasury has the window of when they're going to confirm those selections. The cool thing, we also got a recent revenue ruling that allows non-qualifying, according to the legislation, non-qualifying tracts to be designated for Treasury to confirm. So if you've got one that is going to be what this administration is interested in, whether that's residential real estate tracts or deals that could encourage manufacturing, like you got an industrial park, or you actually have a manufacturing deal that you're on-sourcing here, man, get that in to your governor's office with all of the backup documentation and have them submit that as a non-qualifying tract, because I think that those are the ones that Treasury are going to be fired up about potentially, getting involved in. January 1st, 2027, boom, baby. That's when 2.0 kicks in. That's when you put your money in and you get 5-year deferral. You get a 10% reduction, 30% if you're in a rural zone. September 27, that's the end of the OZ 1.0 reinvestment window. So you could actually have a gain this year and roll it into a deal by next year. Realistically, you're probably going to be putting it in. Well, you're going to get the benefits of 2.0, but you could actually go back in time to a gain from this year, all the way back to January 2026. If your gain came from a K1, which is the type of stuff that we hit on this. This is exactly what we walk through on the 4th page. This is all about your alternative 180-day reinvestment windows for K1 gains. And it walks through the specific dates about when you had your gain, and if it's coming through a partnership or an S corp via a K1, then you get to choose when you want that date to start, either on the sale date or on so you can have the 180 days start on the sale date, which would pick you up to September, or there's this dead zone. It's a lockout, right? Where you can't do a reinvestment, or you can choose for it to start December 31st, or you could choose for it to start March 15th, which ultimately gets you to September 10th of the following year. So that is applicable for any deal that's going to be coming off of a K1. So we love that they gave us flexibility on that based upon K1 deals, because, man, it allows us to go back for a really, really long time, which is exciting, because this is the only program where you don't have to do the tax planning ahead of time. You can actually do it after the transaction. That page alone, that 4th page alone, is worth more than most paid OZ courses that I've seen out there. So that's the field guide. Print it, mark it up, send it to your CPA, use it. If anything you saw in that or on this video raises specific questions about your own situation, that's what Blueprint is for. The link is at the bottom of this page. And inside of Blueprint, you're going to get access to Ascent, which is our weekly mastermind where we go through specific questions, just like, that you're going to have. And you can invite your CPA, you can invite your professionals there. And we're going to make sure that you get your answers, questioned. You get your questions answered, because that's what we're all about at OZPros. We're here to serve. Otherwise, see you in the inbox. Sherpa, out.